Hi, and welcome to the Transform Your Wellness podcast. I am Karen Hagberg, and I'm a health, wellness, and life coach who help people transform their wellness and help them create more balance, ultimate wellness, and a life they love. The Transform Your Wellness podcast is heartfelt conversations with incredible people who are contributing and following their passion and soul purpose. It's conversations with people who are not only transform their own life, but also contribute to the world by helping others transform as well. The title of this podcast is Energy and Frequency in Today's World. And I've got this incredible woman here, Elise Bailey, who is a biologist and medical intuitive. And Elise has spent her entire life looking for the deeper answers to life's most simple questions. Why are we here? What is my purpose? How can I make a difference while I'm here? She thinks we all want to know life's greater meanings. She learned that there is a greater meaning to it all. At a fundamental level of creation, we are all intrinsically connected. We are all woven into a tapestry of the universe. What I do to you, I do to myself. Elise is very sensitive to the subtle vibrations of the planet, and she can feel colors, see scents, taste sounds, and this took her on a journey into the world of dolphins, where she worked in the field studying dolphin communication, behavior intelligence for 25 plus years. And she thinks one of the most important things we can do is to listen. And it's an absolute pleasure, Elise, to have you here. And just to let everyone know that we just met, was it about a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, just recently by a beautiful man who said, "You two girls must meet. You are soul sisters." And he's right.
Yeah, he definitely is right. And I definitely believe nothing happens by coincidence. We definitely were meant to meet. And I think just shortly after we met, it just came to me. I said, I've got to have this conversation with you because I just felt there's so much to you that I obviously don't know. I was just a little while ago reading a little bit on your website, and I was totally blown away with what I read. That's how little I know about you. And I'm here today to really find out more. What I feel is that we're very aligned with working with energy and frequency. That is our passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And obviously what's happening in today's world is absolutely huge, isn't it?
Oh, it's unprecedented, really. It's such an extraordinary time to be alive. I feel like if you're not here, you want to be here. Like this is the place to be. We all wanted a front row seat right here, right now. This is big stuff taking place. And it's interesting because for those of us that have been on this path for the majority of our lives and doing the work, this is exciting. This is great. This is what we all signed up for, right? Like we've been preparing for this.
Yeah.
For those of us that are just new on the scene and starting to realize that we're more than just these little protein machines, it's a rude awakening.
Yeah.
it's cognitive dissonance. It's your head exploding, because it's really big stuff. And all of the things that we've been taught to believe, all of these rigid belief systems that have boxed us in are melting away. I mean, how do you feel about that?
What a question.
I know, right?
Well, I said just before we came on live, I've literally stepped into the complete unknown. I've been completely guided with my intuition to completely trust and completely surrender. And I literally have taken off in my Awakened Wellness Warrior van up the east coast of Australia with basically no plans more than really focusing on myself and really going deep within to just connect with me and really it's an incredible journey. But I felt so guided, felt like I had literally had this thing that you got to go, and no logic to it. Just here I am, and
it's perfect.
Yeah. And more than ever, I've always been very intuitive, but this time it's just amplified into a level that is just incredible. So I can't imagine, as you said, people that are just starting their, shall we say, spiritual awakening,
Right.
that I can't imagine how it would be, because
exactly. But you nailed it. You nailed it, because we don't heal the world outside of us. We heal this place from the inside out. And that's what's so unprecedented about being here, being in this now at this time. Everything that we did in a three-dimensional existence is completely different, because we're now functioning in a higher dimension. We're functioning more from a quantum perspective. And so when you jump into the quantum field, every single possibility exists there simultaneously. So what do you want to create? Like, where are you putting your attention? Where is your focus? Because when you're hanging out in the quantum field, you better look out, man. You better look out. What are you thinking? What are you experiencing? Where are your thoughts? Where's your attention? Because it will manifest very quickly. So, that's why it's so important. It's calling us to be present, to be fully present and focused and in the right here, right now, because that is our point of power.
Absolutely. The power is in the now, in the present moment. That's exactly what I was saying to someone the other day. All I can do is to be in the present moment, because if I project forward or go back in the past, I simply don't feel right. So I got to go back to the present moment again, and just in that present moment, I guess, surrender and trust. And it sure is interesting. And at the start of this, shall we say, a little bit over 2 years now, 2.5 years, I remember doing a video on the beach. I was actually doing a little bit of yoga kind of movement, and I was talking over it. And the message I had then, it just was, this is the time to go within. And isn't that interesting? That was the first message I got. And that's exactly what you said. And because, would you say that a lot of people I believe a lot of people, we have been so focused on the outer and getting our information fed to us, being told what to do. So we're kind of disconnected from listening to our, shall I say, to our heart or trust in ourselves. So we've relied on everything outside of us. And now it's like we're stepping into this world of, oh my God, maybe we're getting different messages. And now it's forcing us to go within. Would you say that?
Look, you touched a key word, which is really powerful, and that is disconnect. We're a social being. We thrive when we are connected. Connection to nature, connection to our heart, connection to love, connection to all that is, and we've been driven apart. We've been forced into this separation, and there's so many different stories playing out in this disconnect. It's really quite confronting. And again, I have to stop and take a lot of personal responsibility, sit in myself and say, okay, all right, well, that's an agenda being driven outside of me. But when I'm hanging out in the quantum field, I don't have to go there. I can sit in the middle of this beautiful energy and just focus on the connect.
Yeah.
Allow, surrender, go within, allow that higher energy to come in and guide me. And we are all connected. We're all deeply connected to each other. And that's the thing that we are missing. That's what we've forgotten. And we're all being called now to be present. And if you're uncomfortable, if you're feeling depressed or sad or pressured or uneasy, great. That's fantastic. Use it. Use it, because that's your meter. That's your meter to tell you, okay, you're not in alignment with your higher purpose. So if you're feeling that, what can we all do? So what's your answer to that?
My answer to that is, first of all, be brave enough to sit in silence.
Do what you did.
sit in silence. For me, it's always been connecting to nature, connecting to the ocean, which you are very connected to as well.
Yeah.
Right? That to me is a form of just connecting to earth. And once I connect to earth and the natural elements, then I get a sense of peace. That's as simple as that. The best medicine for me, it could be simple things like I've got, funnily enough, I've got my surrender essential oil, smelling oil. The sense of smell, is incredible for me, because it just makes me, I guess, release a lot too. Release
it's a frequency. It's a frequency.
It is a frequency, isn't it? Like my awaken and the surrender oil are my favorites at the moment. I just love it. That just sort of takes me to a different place, and they are vibrational, oils. So I love that. I love nature. I need a lot of stillness. I can't handle myself a lot of chaotic energy around.
And that's everywhere right now. That is being bombarded at us. And so people need to understand also, like, this is the time that's been prophesized about for a very, very long time, for thousands of years. This is a big deal. Like, this is a really exciting time to be alive and on this planet right now. And so it can be very confronting, and it can be very confusing. And it can also help you bring up those fears, bring up the things that we most need to address. I mean, we haven't just been on this planet once. I mean, when you understand energy and frequency, quantum dynamics, thermodynamics, clearly states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change form and vibration. So think about that. Then if that's true, where do we come from and where do we go? We're probably recycled. So if we're recycled, then we get an opportunity to go through this multiple times for our highest good, our most learning, and to get it right. And it's about the experience, isn't it? It's about the experience. So everything, I think, is intersecting right now. All of these past experiences that we've had in previous incarnations are everything's being called forward. All of our experiences, all of our learning, all of our opportunities, our setbacks, all the areas where we got it wrong.
Yeah.
It's all coming forward, and we get this chance now.
Yeah. I was just thinking, do you think there are some people that will kind of be left behind, or shall I say stuck in their 3D world or dimension?
it's such a it's such a
A big question.
multifaceted answer, because do I think that people is everyone prepared to make this jump in their understanding of who they are as an energy being? Probably not. Some people are very comfortable in duality. Some
Yeah.
people are very comfortable in being led and not becoming their own master or teacher, their own God, I don't even know the word for it, but their own master, really. They like being told what to do. There are those of us that don't, and know that, we don't need a guru to tell us where to go next. We need to go within, sit with ourselves, find our higher power, be present, learn how to listen to the subtle voices, to the frequencies, to the wind, to the plants, to the flowers, to the animals, to the water. They all hold information for us when we learn how to listen.
And it was interesting. Yesterday, I was actually listening to a friend of mine. She was talking about you are your guru. Basically,
Yes.
we don't need any gurus. We are our own gurus. And isn't that so true? Again, we kind of given the power to someone else when the power is really within us.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a big thing to kind of comprehend, isn't it? Really, once we realize if we got the power to change the outcome or create a different reality.
Right. But some people are terrified by that, because then they have to take a personal responsibility for this stuff that's going wrong in their life, or attracting experiences that are not fun. It's like, wait a minute. Well, you're putting out that vibe. You are vibing at that level, and your energy, sends ripples, sends waves of information out into the universe, and it's going to bring back matching energy. That's why we're both wearing these beautiful little devices. You got your Healy on. I wouldn't be caught without mine, I'll tell you.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? We can go in and talk about, people probably wonder what is it we're wearing, but before we go into that and explain, or maybe talk about some tools that we can use to assist in their, shall we say, their ascension process, let's talk
about that. What do you think? So maybe people listening, maybe people that are new on the scene, or youngsters who I believe are completely switched on and plugged in and coming in with a lot of memories that can help us. But how do you describe this whole great awakening, ascension process, 5D, 6D? How do you explain that? How can we explore that together?
Oh, goodness me. How can I explain that? Oh, I mean, to me, it's just a different way of functioning. And that is really to work from an intuitive level rather from a conscious logical level. It's from the heart space. That's probably the easiest way of for me to explain it. So get the head out of the way and get into the heart. And I often kind of ponder about, and sometimes I ask people, how different would your life be if right from the start you would have followed your intuition right from the start, all those subtle messages. And I know I had many of them, and it's a bit of a laugh when I talk about them. I had that because I've always had that, the inner voice, or whatever we call it, spirit, whatever, that is telling us we can or can't do something, or we shall do it, or whatever. We get these messages or a gut feeling. And I have many of those at different points in my life, and my conscious part of the brain have kind of gone, no, go with this instead. And basically, I think what's happened in my life, it's just been a whole lot of learning, and I've taken a detour, and then it's kind of guided me back to where, I would have gotten to anyway. It's just been a bit of a detour in the whole thing because, I was not really trusting in myself. So I think that's a big thing coming from the heart, but I also think that the level of awareness now is the time of awareness, because without awareness is everything. Like I say that to my coaching clients, really. Once we start to awaken, it is becoming more aware and becoming more aware of ourselves more than anything.
Yes, it's personal responsibility, isn't it? Finally stepping up to the plate and saying, you know what? I'm going to take personal responsibility for the themes playing out in my life. Because what if everything is just a hologram? What if the only real player in this whole movie is you?
Yeah.
You're the director and you're the writer and you're the actor and you score the movie and you write in the villains. And what if? Well, then immediately, man, you've got some big power then. You've got some astronomical power to write this movie in a way that you can enjoy instead of loathe,
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's the excitement, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of scary and exciting at the same time, isn't it? Because you've got that personal responsibility. You have to accept, you have to come to I guess a big thing that comes too is forgiveness to ourselves, forgiveness to others, because of where we are now in the present moment. And all I say to people, if you think, oh my God, I'm here and now and I've ended up here and that was me doing that, well, the good thing is that now you're becoming more aware, and now you can use that awareness to create a different outcome, because we do create in the present moment.
In the present. That's why it's so important to understand this great awakening and being in the quantum field, in that superposition. And that's what we say. And, using these devices, we talk about that information field. So that quantum field sitting in superposition. In superposition, you get to choose outcome. You get to choose consciously. And the only time that you can do that is if you're present. Because if you're back here in the past, pissed off and angry about all this stuff that went down that you don't, with your villains and your demons and all of that stuff. And if you're projecting into the future with stuff that hasn't even happened yet and anxious, and we all do it. I do it. I'm human. I wish I've arrived. But the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. So it's like the only place of real power sitting in the quantum field in superposition, where all things exist simultaneously. So what is it you're going to dial in? What do you want to be broadcasting into your reality?
Yeah. And that's a cool thing when you say, what are you going to kind of draw in? It's like a radio frequency station, because like I've always wondered when I was younger, how does that work? You tune into radio, find that frequency, and then you can hear it.
Right.
And that's what we're kind of doing now.
Television station, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
you can't see that broadcast, but it's going to show up on the screen when you turn the channel that you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. So now we can determine what channel we are going to turn on. And goodness me, first of all, we need to switch off that chaotic noise there, all the lies and their news there, the manipulation that is out there, which is mind control, really.
Divide, fear. Fear is a really nasty, sticky, low vibe energy. it is virtually impossible to create in fear. Not only that, you want to talk about your beautiful body and your immune system. Your immune system will completely shut down and work against you when you're in fear states. It's not good. When you're in love, I'll tell you what, that's the highest energy in the universe. And recently, even I get reprimanded, and I've been at this since I was born. And I'm not even going to tell you how old I am. But anyway, it's all relative anyway, right? So, I mean, I was told, look, you're focusing on feeling safe, having enough financially, enough monetary, enough money to feel safe, to feel secure, accumulate this. It's like, no, you got it all wrong, sweetheart. At the end of the day, everything is energy. Everything in the universe is energy. However, there is one energy that is very, very high vibe. And the more you give away of this energy, the more of it comes back to you. Much more. And that's love.
Yeah. And isn't it interesting that, you cannot have love when you have fear there. It's either or. And I think recognizing when we are in that fear is really important. And sometimes I believe that one can think when that we are in that love frequency, when in fact we're not. It's fear the other way. So it's again, it comes down to that awareness of really, how does it feel to just be in that love space? How does that feel? Like
it feels pretty darn good. It's really yummy, because a lot of people believe, oh, well, I have to hold on to this partner. I have to be with this person, because if I don't, I don't feel love. It's like, I got news for you. All of that stuff you're feeling comes from inside. You do not feel from outside of you. There is no magic bullet out there that's going to make you feel love. So everything is a trigger for us to feel from within. And so that's and my message really is, if you're not feeling the love, if you're not feeling safe, if you're not feeling supported, if you're not feeling that security, you're not going to find it outside of you. We're all being called, and that's part of this great awakening, and that's part of the ascension process, is understanding that there is a magical, miracle, mystery world that is so profound and so awesome, and you're not going to find it out there. We got to go within. Got to get really small, teeny tiny, which means we go quantum. We jump into the quantum field and we create from our point of power, which is there.
Oh, it's so good to talk to you, Elise.
I get really excited when we start talking quantum physics, I'll tell you.
I know. It's like someone gets it.
I mean, and even in biology. So if we even talk about, quantum biology, and everybody thinks, oh, well, we're physical, we're matter. Well, I got news for you. We're actually not, because when you break us down to our fundamental units, so you see this body here, but what is the body? The body is made up of tissues, and organs. And then the organs are made up of cells, and the cells are made up of molecules, and the molecules are made up of atoms. And the atoms, we used to think that was it, but we cracked open those atoms and we found protons, electrons, and neutrons. And then we cracked those open and we got into quarks, and we got into gluons, and all these really cool particles that we thought, and when you crack open an electron, what you have is energy, these spinning vortexes of energy. And all of this energy sits in this beautiful field, this quantum field of energy, which is information. So we are not our physical bodies. And the only reason that I can reach out and touch you and feel you is because my particles, my quantum particles, exhibit a force. And that force, your force from your spinning vortexes of energy, pushes against my spinning vortexes of energy. So we feel each other, but technically we're not. We're mostly space, but we are energy, pure energy.
Isn't it 99.9 space in an atom or something like that?
It's huge. It's huge.
Massive, isn't it?
It's a big deal. I mean, and when you talk about, molecules and electrons, atoms rather, and the electrons, we have what's called an electron cloud because we don't even know where that electron is going to land in that orbital at any given moment. So we talk about clouds because there's a potential. So, and that's what I'm talking about with the quantum field and that superposition where we don't know. Like we don't know. You just never know. Every possibility exists there. And then we've got this quantum entanglement where we're all at some level entangled with each other so that what I experience and what I learn over lifetime after lifetime after lifetime actually affects you, and you benefit from that because of that quantum entanglement, because we're all wrapped into this tapestry where we all sit in that quantum field and vibrate and affect each other. And so that's why I say what I do to someone else, I do to myself at some level.
Yeah. So just back to this, like the great reset or great awakening, does it work in that sense that, I mean, the number of people waking up is becoming so huge, is kind of non-stoppable?
I think so.
That's my kind of, it gets to that tipping point where it just goes like, and it cannot be stopped. So I now hear some people still kind of wonder, what's going to happen, like it's not going to be good or whatever. My gut feel is saying, well, the world's waking up. So,
but see, here's the thing, to answer that question and to go really deep, when you talk about quantum physics, every particle, it's not Newtonian laws of physics any longer. This is all bets are off when you go into the quantum field. And for most people, and I'm by no means an expert, I probably know enough to be dangerous. So, for a particle in the quantum field, every single particle has its own laws. So whereas in Newtonian physics, we all follow the same laws and principles, but in the quantum field, all bets are off. It's a wacky, strange, quantum weirdness kind of a thing. And so what I say, or what I would invite everybody listening to this is, where are you putting your focus? Where are you putting your attention? Because what I might experience in the quantum field, or even in my daily reality, like I'm looking out and seeing rainbows and I'm experiencing beauty and just the most incredible reality that supports me and loves me. It's like a big hug. However, and I don't always have those moments, but for the most part, I'm seeing a really beautiful world start to unfold. Whereas another who has not done the work and believes that they're a victim of their circumstance and has wrapped themselves up in a blanket of anger and fear and resentment and negativity, they might look out. I might be standing right next to them and I'm seeing rainbows and just beautiful stuff, and they're seeing thunderclouds and horrific things happening. And it's so where's your focus? What do you, and that's also part of the ascension process and the Great Awakening. We are a beautiful, divine spark of the Creator. And so knowing that, then we have innate abilities that we were gifted by that creative energy, that frequency, that vibration, whatever you choose to call it. And when you tap into that, when you allow that to permeate you and move through you, you realize that, first of all, you're not here alone. You've got a force far greater than anything imaginable till now, because the veil has started to lift. That curtain is, that stocking is fraying and we are seeing through it. And so taking personal responsibility and saying, okay, if I have the ability to create something beautiful, then why would I put my attention to anger, fear, negativity? Okay, so is the potential to see that reality play out? Is that there? Absolutely. But knowing what I know, why the heck would I choose that? Because that doesn't look very fun. It looks pretty damn scary. It looks ugly. It looks like it's going to be a bummer of a time. I don't want any part of it. I want to be part of the solution and not part of the fear-based problem. And we're projecting because we're all energy. And in the quantum field, we can create whatever we want. And the universe supports what you believe. I got news for you. The universe supports what you believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why am I going to broadcast that into the channel? I'm going to tune in. No, thank you. I'm not going to do it.
So how do you think we can kind of assist people, and can we assist people in waking up and
Absolutely.
leave that fear narrative or whatever we call it, and step away from that? How do you think we can assist people in that?
Good question. So I would say, all right, for a moment, sit in your fear. Sit in it. How's that working out for you? How does that feel? And what's the worst, like, is that feeling good? Because I'm betting it doesn't. And so in that fear, you're going to feel anxiety. You're going to probably feel your adrenals start to kick in. You're going to feel fight or flight. You're going to feel a lot of physical things that don't feel good. In addition, you can sit in that fear and go, okay, what's the worst possible thing that can happen? And look at it. Okay, so if that's the worst possible thing that can happen, it's pretty scary. It's pretty bad. I'm thinking, no, thank you. I'd rather not go that route, right? So I would invite those people to, what if I had the opportunity to actually create what I'd like to see? Because the opportunity for us to do that now is monumental. It's huge. And that's the thing, where we thought we were a victim of circumstance and we're just little victims sitting like a little rubber duck on a very violent sea. That's not the case anymore. We actually can influence not only the waves of the water, but how well the ducky is going to respond to that water, right? So for me, it's about, okay, well, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm sitting in the fear and it's not pleasant, I don't like it. But imagine if you could create something better. How does that look for you? What does that feel like? Can you smell it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it? Give it life, give it tangibility. And imagine if you're the creator, and look, if you want to go back into the fear and that's working out for you, hey, do it, go for it. But we're sitting in a time that is unprecedented, where we affect the entire scope of our reality, each and every one of us. And there are many of us out there that have done this work, that have walked through the bowels of hell, that have been through the darkness, that have shed our egos and killed our egos and done big work, failed miserably and succeeded wonderfully. We're all in a process. And I would say that there are millions of people on the planet awake that want to be of assistance. And so Allow yourself to believe that there is a greater power outside of you that actually wants you to feel good.
Mm, mm,
And if you can drop into your heart
mm.
and listen with the ears of your heart, because we've all been listening with the ears of our head, right? And it's scary. And excuse my French, it is fucked up. It is not cool. It's division, separation, conflict, judgment, superiority. It's disgusting. It's
Mm.
absolutely disgusting. And so we know what we don't want, because that's not feeling very good, is it? But when we drop into our heart, we start to feel things and see things very differently, because the heart has an intelligence that the head hasn't quite evolved to yet.
Yeah,
Did you say that?
absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's about allowing ourselves to
Yeah.
put
Allowing.
put the story back here, because the story doesn't
Yes.
serve us anymore, and then really allowing us to create what we really want and not get caught in the story, because that's just the energy of the story that doesn't exist anymore.
I
It's,
agree.
it's just a story.
Yeah.
So, which I feel when I say that, that's a nice thing for me to kind of let go of that story. Now I'm here.
Now I'm here,
Now I'm
right
here.
here.
Now I'm right here.
And I'm
And
safe in this moment.
yeah,
Right here.
exactly. And I often say that to people, and particularly when I coach people, how are you feeling right now? And they go, I just feel so good. I feel so calm. I feel so at peace. I feel I've got clarity. I go, well, that's the present moment.
And that's the Great Awakening. That's
That's
the
the
ascension
great
process.
awakening.
That's it.
Maybe that's why.
All the crap falls away.
Yeah. I call my tribe the Awakened Wellness Warriors. Did you know that?
No, I did
The
not.
Awakened Wellness Warriors.
I
So
love
that's the
that.
tribe. Yeah.
Love it.
And that is really, people that are willing to kind of step into the
Mm.
present moment and, you know, allow themselves to just be and
It's wisdom.
yeah, it's
Wisdom. And you can't get it in books.
mm,
That's not this.
mm,
You can be educated, you can be degreed up one side and down the other, but that's not this.
no,
This
no,
is an innate knowing. It is an accumulation of all of your life experiences. And I don't mean this life, I mean multiple, because I'm sorry, I hate to burst your bubble, folks, but this, you don't just get one shot. There's not one shot, and that's it. You're all done. You failed. You're done. You're going, you're going to hell or you're going to heaven. That's not how it works. We are
it's so black and white, isn't it? It's not that black and white, is it?
no. Well, I don't believe so. Do you?
No, absolutely not. And I definitely know that I've been here before, and I've got very vivid, I kind of connect with it. And I know that the challenges I had or the decisions I had to make at that time, which has come up a lot in processes I've done, are things that I'm having to kind of relive in a different way now.
Mm.
And that's really interesting. And actually, just the other day, something came through and it was quite incredible. I thought, wow, it was quite clear where I definitely at that point in time had been there and then had to make massive decisions, which was had huge impact. I'm talking
Can I ask you a question?
life and death.
When you made those decisions, and because it seems to me these are very important, where did you go when processing the information to make these decisions?
At that point in time in
Yeah.
my past life or now?
Well, my understanding is that you're saying some things came up in your life where you had to make big decisions. But when you were processing to actually make those decisions, where were you? Like even in your body, where were you in your head? Were you in your throat? Were you in your heart? Were you out here? Where were you?
I was in silence and in my heart. Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's and that was like that was kind of a scary thing, because I had no one else that I could rely on at all for answers. I had to take full responsibility. At that point in time in my life, it was massive, because what comes up to me, I was responsible for a lot of people's lives, and I had to make a decision, and it had to come from here. It had to come from love. And it was the hardest decision, I ever had to live with. And now when I'm in this life, same thing, I have to allow myself to go into that heart space and be brave enough to just listen, even though nothing at the time perhaps makes sense. Because,
Wow.
yeah, because the outer world sometimes kind of comes and want to suck you out of that.
Yes. Yes.
Suck you out of it.
Yes.
Come here.
Yes.
That
Let me
doesn't make
trick
sense.
you. Let me mess with you.
Yeah,
Let me show you scary, scary, scary images.
yeah.
And the only way through it is in the heart.
Mm, mm.
To listen with the ears of the heart. Because had you made those same choices or decisions in your head or out of fear or out of necessity, maybe you would have made different choices.
Absolutely. Very much so. And I'm sure many of our listeners and watchers can relate to that. Thinking back at a time in your life when you had that gut feel, or, the intuition or heart, or that stirring within, kind of telling you perhaps not to do something or go a different way. What did you do at that time? Did you let that heart speak to you and make you take that decision, or do you let that outside influence creep in, and that fear? I'd say it's the fear that stops us, and
The
fear
fear.
completely paralyzes us. And
Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel the fear and do it anyway? Because that's what I do.
oh, a
I,
lot of the time.
I
Yeah.
mean, for me, even, getting into the water with dolphins
Yeah.
and traveling and being called to different places all over the world and
Mm.
jumping into sometimes shark infested waters. And it's like, I know I'm going to have a monumental breakthrough here and what do I do? Yep, feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm going in, and then breakthroughs and magical, profound experiences unfold.
Mm. And they are incredible creatures, aren't they? Tell us a little bit
Oh,
about your experiences with dolphins.
oh, that's my absolute passion, really. And I feel like, I guess I could say that's my spirit animal because dolphins, you can't hide from a dolphin. So they have um, a way that they sense the environment, that they sense the world. They have sonar. And so they can see the internal workings of your body. They can see your heart pumping. They can see your adrenals fire, like if you're about to do something, they can see it. They can see internally if you have metal in your body. If you're pregnant, they love that. They can see it. If you have
Wow.
metal in your body, they ping off of it. They use sonar and they ping off of it. They see using sound, but they also, I think they're a very advanced being. Their brains are 20 million years more evolved than the human brain. So,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. So if you're in the water and you have a 20 million year more evolved brain than a human brain, what are you going to do with that big monster biocomputer? They
Yeah.
didn't evolve hands. So they create, but they create with sound, and they create with energy and frequency. And you can feel them scanning you. I feel like they show you things about yourself
Yeah.
that maybe sometimes you're not even prepared to see. Like as a woman, and for anybody that's watching, I know you all judge yourselves very, very harshly. And we all do, because we've been conditioned to see ourselves certain ways with
Yeah.
extra weight, or if our thighs are a certain shape or size, whatever. And I was laying in the water with one of my beautiful dolphin friends, and I don't know how it happened, but I was just laying there and it was sonaring. And I was almost in a meditative state. And for an instant, I felt that I completely switched consciousness with this dolphin. And I
Oh,
was looking at myself through the dolphin's eyes. And I was looking at my body, and I was thinking, wow. And I remember being very enamored by my hair and the hair on my skin, and watching this hair move, and loving, absolutely loving my legs and my physical form and my shape. And it's funny because in my conscious awareness, I look at a dolphin, and when you touch a dolphin, it almost feels like a hard-boiled egg that's really but hard. So there's bone under there. So you can put your hand on it. And I love touching a dolphin, and all of its nerve endings end on the surface of its skin. So it's very tactile, and it's very it's very kinetic. It feels that touch. And I always thought, oh, look at the tail, and look at the beautiful shape of this dolphin body. And for the first time in my life, I was looking at myself through a dolphin's eyes, and
yeah.
I saw myself in such beauty. I actually wrote a paper on it when I was in school, because I say that the day I saw myself through the eyes of a dolphin, I never in my life saw my beauty until I saw myself through the eyes of a dolphin.
Wow.
No judgment, just absolute perfection for who I was in that moment, with all of my flaws and imperfections. It was perfection.
Mm, mm.
It was a very, very beautiful experience.
How beautiful.
Mm. And they have that gift. They take us. I believe, and if you don't believe that and you've never experienced that, I believe that's because that's the wavelength you're on. That's the frequency you're on. And now that we're in this ascension process and the great awakening, then we're invited to feel our connection to the whole, the deeper connection to every living being, every living creature on this planet. So I got to experience things that maybe others wouldn't, but I felt my connection to these beautiful animals that are so much more evolved than I am. And I didn't go in to teach them anything. I went in with the eyes and the ears of a child to learn and to
Yeah.
grow as a spiritual being. I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn how to be better. I wanted to learn how to be more loving, how to be more accepting of myself, and to see more beauty in the world. And that's exactly what I got.
Mm. And I think, as you say, like for me, this journey for myself now is really a journey of, self-love, respect, because that's really where it starts. I really truly believe that if we can be fully accepting for who we are,
Mm.
and really start loving ourselves in a, in a way we deserve to be loved.
Well, you
Um,
have to ask yourself, what is your relationship that you have with you? That's the number one most important relationship any of us can have.
yeah, 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 absolutely. And it's such a, I just think it's, when I think about myself now, I think uh, that far out, this is a woman that's gone through a whole lot of hardship and lots of things like many other people have. But life hasn't been really easy. And why would I not be loving to this person that's gone through so much? And
Mhm.
I'm here now, and, life is really wonderful. Yeah, I mean, all the experiences have taken me to where I am now, and I'm
It
really
is.
grateful for that. So that's a nice space of being. Maybe that's an age thing too, Elise, when you
Yeah,
get
it could
to,
be at
I was
our
going to
age, right?
say at our age, when we're a little bit coming to the other side of just reaching the most beautiful maturity, shall we say, as a woman. I think our years now are the best
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Because what happens is, I think we're kind of forced to just step into the beauty of who we really are, and we don't have time to. I was going to say fuck around.
we don't, do we?
You
We
know,
don't.
we have
Unless we do, you never know, because
yeah.
frequency and energy, no telling where we can go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's more that knowledge of where we've been. We go into the divine more. I feel
yeah,
now more
yeah.
than ever.
Now, having said that, though, because the theme of our talk today is the ascension process. And so for those that are new on the path, this can be a very scary time. And
Yeah.
even people that have been doing the work, for 20 years,
Mm,
we're
mm,
still being called to look at any areas that are sticky and icky and not moving properly, that are unresolved patterns of energy, are being brought to the surface for us to heal. And
yeah.
so instead of, because there's so much suicide right now, there's so much fear, there's so much anxiety, there's so much pain and hurt and anger,
Mm,
and it's all real.
Well, it's
and
real
at,
for them.
and at the same time, it's just a thought. What
Yeah,
do you choose to experience?
yeah,
Because, if it feels awful, well, I just say again, well, how's that working out for you?
exactly.
Because I would love to say, jump into the quantum field, which means get really still.
Yeah.
Just take in some really deep breaths and get really still and allow yourself to drift internally, go into that heart space. And there are energy vortexes in that heart that take us into this deeper awareness, deeper understanding,
Mm,
where we can create out of empowerment and out of love and not fear. And
mm,
we can look at the things that are coming up for us and look at these things that are crashing into us, causing what appears to be trauma. And
mm,
it is, if you're in a three-dimensional experience. But when you can take yourself out of that and raise yourself just above, because you got 3D, 4D, 5D. 4D is time space. If you can raise yourself above that and you go into 5, 6, there's not linear time. It's not the way that we understand it. And
mm.
so we can experience the truth of who we really are as an energy being. And we can see that we've created everything for our highest learning experience. And
Yeah.
we have the opportunity to shift it from there.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Can I just ask you too? I know you are also, as well as a biologist, you're also medical intuitive, Elise. For the listeners, maybe just talk a little bit about that and what that means and what um,
Okay.
skills that's given you.
Basically, I was trained as a biologist, and I had the most incredible professor, really awesome professor. He did not, one of them anyway, he did not teach us the typical way um, of biology. Like, he taught us to see biology. So when we studied, say, the Krebs cycle, which is basic metabolism,
Yeah.
he made us draw it. We had to bring in a poster board. So you either knew this or you didn't. We had
Mm,
to draw the cells. We had to draw inside the cells. We had to write out the biochemistry. We had to write out the chemical equations of what was happening. And so I learned biology by seeing it. So seeing it in pictures. So to this day, I see, when I think of biology, and most people think about what they memorized in biology, I see it. And so for me, from a very early age, which I didn't know it would all come full circle for me, I actually get into someone's energy field, and these images, these pictures start to emerge. So my biological training was in pictures, but my intuition and my perception of the energy, I also see in pictures. Not only do I see it, I feel it. I can experience color and pain and trauma, and so I feel and see it as though it's me. So when I'm in someone's energy field and I want to get a better idea to help them understand what's going on, I can become very small, and I move myself into a cell, and I'm looking around going, oh, wow. Well, this there's some stuff going on here that's this color, and it looks like this, and it smells like this. Or I'm looking at the gut, and I'm seeing all these microbes and different things, or people that have had Lyme disease before, and I'm seeing these little cysts and tumors that look like these little critters that have gone dormant and moved into tissue, and then they're waiting for the most opportune moment to then come up to the surface. So I'm seeing in this whole energy and picture language. And it's a sense. I don't know that anybody is 100% with this, but you just get a sense of what's happening. And I think maybe because of my biology training, maybe I have a more accurate understanding of the physiology, anatomy, and biology because I was trained there. So I do know what a healthy organ, cell, or tissue is supposed to look like. So when I'm in there looking around and it's looking very different to that, I immediately know. But I think all of us can also put our hands on people, and we can feel cold energy or warm energy or pressure or prickly stickiness. Discomfort, pain. If somebody's in deep pain states, you can put your hands on them or go into their energy field and immediately feel the pain.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of us can do this. Each one of us are energy beings that are born with this intuitive knowing. And that's, again, the ascension process, the great awakening. We're supposed to remember who we are as these incredible energy beings.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about this little thing we've got here, because I find it absolutely fascinating, and it's something that I can't kind of consciously explain what it is. I found I had to experience it, but it was interesting. The first time I heard and read about this, I knew intuitively, I got to have that. I got to experience that. That was my first initial thing.
Me too. Me too. You just know. You get into the frequency of it, and you just know, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a wearable frequency device.
Okay.
And for those of us that are present in this time, in this ascension process, we're very susceptible to subtle energies. We're susceptible to beautiful, harmonic, coherent energies, but we're also susceptible to disharmonious, unhealthy, ugly energies, sticky, icky, nasty energies. And a lot of times for people that are empathetic and empaths and very sensitive, they can feel those energies and think it's them, and it's not. So that's why it's so good to have one of these beautiful quantum frequency devices, because for many people that are only just developing the energies, it's a great support. I mean, I say this is like Reiki on steroids or meditating on steroids. It takes you to that next level. It's such a powerful personal development tool. And can we all do it without this? Absolutely, without question. We can all do everything without any tools. Of course we can. But we're in an unprecedented time where we're being bombarded with disgusting, filthy frequencies. And if you understand that you live in a frequency universe, and frequencies are, even color is a frequency, scent is a frequency, music, frequencies, then why would you not take advantage of a tool that is willing to help protect your energy field while you master your frequency world?
Yeah. As I see it, it kind of helps to just raise the vibrations, keep the vibrations kind of high when it drops a little bit, because I mean, we all, as we know, or probably most people know, that the body vibrates at a certain level when it's healthy, and when we get ill, it drops down. So and I mean, it's forever changing every second, every moment.
We're in flux constantly. We are tiny quantum particles moving in and out of form. So that's why I say to our listeners, everything is in flux. You can recreate yourself in every moment. You have the opportunity to heal and to fix and to change anything and everything, because you are a quantum energy being. And it's very, very powerful. And so with this device, it actually accesses the quantum field. It goes into those scalar fields and scalar technology from Tesla, and even brings forward the Rife frequencies, but it's further than that. So it goes into the actual, what they call the information field. So some people would say, well, is that like the Akashic records? Well, yeah, you could say that, but it's a field of energy where every single potential exists, which I call superposition, which I call that, but I didn't clone that. That's quantum physics. They call that superposition. So, but when we talk about healing, I like to use that physics word, superposition. So you go into that field of energy where you can manifest and create whatever your heart's desires. So sometimes when we've suffered trauma and we've suffered pain and heartbreak and experiences, and we get stuck in that, we don't realize, because we're so comfortable in our own pain, and then we stuff it. And we stuff it down deep, and we our cells and our tissues and our body holds trauma, and not just ours, but it can be transferred from our ancestors, from our parents, genetic transfers. And so what's beautiful about this tool is it's actually capable of identifying in the quantum field to see if in fact that's the origin of that event is yours. Karmic comes from your parents, your grandparents, or your distant ancestors. So, and that shows up in the quantum field. We can look at that. And that's what makes this little dude so awesome. It's so cool, you know, and not only that, it also deals with electromagnetic energy as well. So when you talk about electricity, well, all of our cells work through electricity. And in those little cells, we have organelles. Just like our bodies have organs, our cells have organs, and they're called organelles. And so one of those organelles is the mitochondria, and that's the powerhouse of the cell. It creates ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So that's the fuel, the currency that runs the body. And as we age, or when we eat too much sugar and we're not well, then the body doesn't manufacture enough of these little powerful little organelles. And so when we utilize a device such as this, we're sending electrical information into the cells to remind the cells what they know how to do best, which is support us, work with us, and self-heal.
Yeah.
So the body is the master healing mechanism. The
Yeah.
device reminds the body what to do because it knows what to do. And when it knows what to do, it does it at profound levels.
Yeah. And the good thing is you don't need to understand what it does. You just need to experience it, really. And I think for me, I think I've been using it about a couple of years soon. And I think my life, I mean, should I say the Great Awakening, or it's definitely sped up everything, I think, massively too. It's helped along that process as well.
It's quantum.
Absolutely. There's been huge shifts in me during these.
It helps us. It's such a supportive mechanism because it helps us. It wraps us in this frequency and helps us shift our awareness to a broader, more supportive energy instead of this three-dimensional limited crap bullshit, anger, division, low self-worth, low self-esteem. It's disgusting. It's horrible. And we're done. We need to move out of that. We have to move out of that.
Yeah. So imagine if, I was going to say, imagine if nearly everyone in the world would have access to, something like the Healy, and of course other things too, becoming more aware. I
love it. I love it. Absolutely. Because it connects us in this beautiful web, beautiful, when you think about the magnetic field of the earth and the grids and the ley lines that like dolphins use to travel the globe, and birds and different animals that navigate. Well, there is this invisible grid that connects all of us. Yeah. And it's magnetic and it's electromagnetic and it's frequency. And why would you not utilize a tool that can help you jumpstart all of your abilities? If you haven't been working your whole life on this stuff like many of us have, and I have, and I'm telling you what, I'll give up my diamonds before I'll give up my Healy. Sorry. I'm telling you, I will give up my makeup before I give up my Healy. My diamonds, and that's a big statement.
That's so cool.
I passed a kidney stone with this device. Yeah. I mean, and let me just say, look, Healy, we have to say that Healy is not designed to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease state. It's simply a tool to help. It's a wellness device. There to help us tap into our own bioenergy, our bioenergetic field, to vibrate and radiate at the highest level possible. So every organ in the body is singing, it's vibrating and it's singing. And when those songs become off key or out of tune, this device can help us retune those songs and fall into resonance with those higher, beautiful earth frequencies and earth energies, the harmonics of the planet, the solfeggios, and all of those. So it's a wellness device. It's not an illness device. And I just say, look, it's one of the greatest self-development tools that I've used. And if it helps me process my own pain, my own trauma, my own physical pain, my own mental pain, then you bet I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity. Absolutely, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't it interesting, when the two of us met, I actually didn't know that you had a Healy and that you work with healing, and then all of a sudden I find out that you've got the most incredible resource as well that you allowed me to tap into, where you were
network,
but for people to have a chance to kind of understand this a little bit more, energy, frequency, all this sort of stuff that you got on this portal, it's just incredible. So
I wanted people to get it. I wanted people to understand from multiple levels how supportive and how helpful this is. I really wanted, and it's big science, like it's really big science, and most people don't have that scientific background. So I really like to take that big science and then rewrite it so that people can really digest it and understand it and utilize it, because it's great to be able to talk big fancy science, but if the majority of people don't have a clue what you're saying, then it's not helpful.
Exactly. And that I've just started looking at some of the stuff you got in there, and it's absolutely so good. As you say, it's for it explains it more at layman's terms.
Yeah.
Um,
Energy, frequency, vibration, quantum. What is quantum? The
Yeah.
7 main energy centers of the body, the chakras, the
Yeah.
meridians, and what that means, the liquid crystals of the body, what that means. So yeah, people can go, it's www.goquantum.mn.co.
Yeah, that's great. I'll be posting all that information.
It's free. You can jump in. It's all free.
I know, that's the great thing, isn't it? So I can definitely forward the information to people, and
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot today, Elise. We certainly will have to catch up for another podcast and elaborate on all these things, but I think it's been about 1.5 hours.
Wow.
I know,
I've been into a
you lost time and space. It must have been in the 5D. Hey?
I know, right? Yeah.
So
It's been beautiful chatting with you.
yeah, is there anything else before we finish you'd love to share with the listeners or the people watching?
You know what? I would
Yeah.
like to say, for any of you that are scared, for any of you that think that it's everything is gloom and doom, and that we are predisposed to one of the most disgusting, horrible, fear-based realities, biblical proportions.
Yeah.
I would like to say to you, you can experience that if you'd like, or you can remember that you're a beautiful divine spark of the Creator, and that you create your own reality. And if you put your attention on your intention and imagine that there is a beautiful world that awaits you, if you have the courage to move out of 3D and see the world from a new perspective, there is magic, joy, and love to be had. And the world won't look this so scary anymore, because we're in for a big treat of astronomical proportions. And it's about love and acceptance and joy and abundance and health and beauty. And I hope you have the courage to let go of 3D and imagine a better reality for yourself, because it's there, it's waiting for you.
Oh my God.
That's the awakening.
That's it. You summed it up there. I nearly get tears in my eyes just listening to that. So beautiful.
I know, right? Why would you choose the other?
So beautiful. And with that, I think that's such a great way to finish. Obviously, I'd like to thank you from my heart, and I've got my heart here. I carry my heart with me.
Beautiful.
It's been such a pleasure meeting you, Elise, and I look forward to getting to know you way more, and be able to share more things with the world with you, because I think both of us have got a lot to give to people in the universe out there. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And
you're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
I will definitely be posting information below in the comments, wherever you find this, if it is on YouTube, if it is on the Transform Your Wellness podcast. Feel free to comment here in the live if you've got any questions you want to reach out to either of us. We both obviously can help you out with the healing.
I'd like to just say, for those people that really want some more support and are looking for a transformational personal growth tool, please contact the link that, give them a link so that you can show them how to get a Healy, because I can't recommend it highly enough as well. And I just think it's a no-brainer, and it's a money-back guarantee. If you don't love it, send it back.
Absolutely. Right. Well, you have a lovely, lovely rest of the day. And again, thank you so much, Elise. And thank you for everyone that was tuning into this podcast. And yeah, love and light to you all.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.